I think social media and everything else, how it's programmed us, and it doesn't happen. Like, I think about some of my bad habits that I want to no longer have. And I think about how long I've had them for. So sometimes I wonder, does it take the same amount of time that you had the bad habit for to overcome that bad habit, to truly be over it, right? Because I read this book, Power of Habit, and it's talking about like temptation, or if you have any sort of addiction even, your neurons still fire when you get that craving, but you need to have an overlapping neuron that says no. Like, you're still gonna have that temptation, but something's gonna overlay it, and you're gonna choose not to do it because of that overlaid neuron. And my mind instantly went to thinking, does that neuron get formed by the same amount of time? So say I had like a sugar addiction, or like I eat junk food for like, say, 3 years straight, consistently, every night, 3 years. Does that mean I need 3 years of not eating junk food that way in order to form that neuron? So I think about TikTok, I think about YouTube, I think about all these different forms of content that have happened now, and how for years now they've been slowly programming us to go from long form to shorter to shorter to shorter, where now everything's so instant that delayed gratification is much harder to achieve. I'm finding myself at points now where I'm forcing myself to watch longer things. I'm forcing myself not to only consume short, fast, because I don't want my brain to be a damn goldfish either. But concise work where even if I'm on a computer, you know, like, it's very hard to put the phone away. It's very hard to not be doing 5 things at once, because you've been programmed to be able to do 5 things at once. So all those things, like, put into practice now, I always wondered, delayed gratification, is it going to take the same amount of time to be able to enjoy it, and years of not watching short form content? But I think that's where guys like Andrew Tate or whoever that always preach a strong body means a strong mind. Yeah. Where I feel like moments like, you brought up that motherfucker, we're gonna cut that part out instantly.
No, bro. No, I think this is you know, this is a show where I want different perspectives, and if we can't have that, and we can't bring up certain people, then we're censoring ourselves. Yeah. And I don't think that's right.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Here's my perspective on a lot of things. I can learn from my haters. I can learn from the best people. I can learn from average people. But what I'm looking for, like the mindset that I go into when I consume content or I'm trying to learn from somebody, is always they have some form of value. It's not like they got to where they're at just by actually, some people might. But even then, even like the people that I don't like, I like learning from them.
Absolutely.
And I think if you can't, it's getting to the point where you can't even talk about a name without you being personally criticized. In fact, KB, I remember KB is like, bro, I don't like Andrew Tate. Fuck that guy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Right? I was like, oh, bro, have you seen his long form content? I don't think you have. Yeah. Right? Because it gives you a different perspective on the type of person he is. Yeah. And he watched it and he sent me a message that next day saying, bro, this guy's so funny. Yeah. Right. And he showed me the exact podcast that he watched. But
well, that's how dangerous the media space is, because you could take a snippet of somebody of just that one portion that might go viral, and that can label that person for a long time, right? You take a snippet of Andrew Tate saying something, and that labels him now, and so whatever else no matter what else he says or what else he's done, is completely washed.
Same with Kyrie Irving. Man was donating for different people's GoFundMe for fun, right? And not for fun, but obviously to give back. But he didn't promote it anywhere. He didn't say anything. But people caught on, and it would be like $25,000 donated by Kyrie Irving. Wow. But they were only talking about the bad things, right? They were talking about, oh, he reshared this video, and a lot of people don't like it. Yeah. There was never any talk about like a lot of the good. And instantly, I think the frame that they put him in was a villain frame. Same with the pandemic. There's plenty of guys that didn't get the vaccine.
Yep. But he was
the guy that you would only think about. Yep. That didn't get the vaccine.
Absolutely.
And the crazy part is other players still played without the vaccine. It was just him. that they were attacking a little bit more because he was in New York, and each city had their own ruling.
Well, another thing too is I feel like the higher you go up the ladder, the more of a target you become, right? So Kyrie being one of the greatest basketball players of all time, you know, let's target this guy.
Yeah.
Right. Let's criticize this guy. Right. Again, the higher you go in the ladder of life, you start having this target. People start to come after you, and it's crazy. You know what the crazy thing is how far people will go to tarnish your name.
Yeah.
People that don't know you, people online, right?
That's the craziest part, and that's why I think I became more emotionally intelligent over the pandemic. When I started just wanting to question certain people's perspectives to see if they even believed in those perspectives or where they formed those perspectives. Because a lot of things that I end up believing are forms and ways of things that I experienced at a certain point in time, right? And I feel like a lot of people are getting to the point where they don't even experience it. They just see something and just hop on the train. Yeah, F this guy. Yeah, screw this guy. This guy doesn't know shit about this. Kyrie got dropped by Nike, right?
Crazy.
That's so wild.
Crazy.
And then on top of that, now they had Ja Morant signed. They picked up Ja Morant as they dropped Kyrie.
But didn't you see what happened to Ja Morant?
That's what I'm saying.
Over the weekend? Like, yeah.
So it'll be interesting because I think all these companies are so big that they have their own agenda of how they want to portray themselves and the type of people that they want to have on board, obviously. But it's just so crazy that it's harder to be free, you know? And I think the creator economy is growing because it gives you that own control. Yeah,
absolutely. It gives you that freedom to express yourself and be who you are, and not in the same like of portraying violence or hatred towards other people, just being who you are.
Yeah.
And being and it being okay to be who you are. And you and I can sit across from each other and have different perspectives and just talk about it.
Yeah.
Without losing our goddamn minds. You might have a point here and I might have a point there, and we can talk about it.
I remember when I hopped on Carnivore, right? And I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
Completely different viewpoints. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to believe this guy and so. But the thing is, when you cancel out one side of the conversation, like if I was like, bro, you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then it's just one-sided conversation. And I think that's what the online world's getting to, is just one-sided conversations. You're not allowed to believe the other side or even think of it.
No.
Right? And that's like imposing a religion on somebody.
Yeah.
It's just facts. It's a weird world that we're living in now.
But even kind of circling back to what we were saying before, like how, you know, humans are animals, bro. Look at the online world.
Yeah.
You know, how much negative comments are on people's social posts. That's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing. It's like you have this other side where animals are attacking other animals. Humans are attacking other humans in the most negative form. It's so funny because, not funny, but like David Goggins was talking about how this one guy who was making, I think he was making videos or he was doing something where he basically saying that he wasn't a Navy SEAL, that he was this and that. But this guy went so far for such a long time that David was like, man, like I got to get, like, he was thinking about getting his lawyers involved and like, you know, going to sue this guy. And he took a step back and was like, let me think about who this person is, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
And he realized that this person, and again, I don't know the full story, but I think this person was in a deep, dark place of their own, and just picked David Goggins as the guy that they wanted to attack for the next 5-6 months. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That is someone random that you don't know is sitting there online or whatever and bashing your name. And that's their main objective, is to bring you down.
Yeah.
Crazy. And there's whole YouTube channels on this.
That's like people are just getting so unlike themselves. And I think it's coming from, especially online. I wonder sometimes why do people get so angry, and why can't people control their feelings the same way? Chasing happiness. I think over the past like 5-10 years, like especially social media wise, it's like, oh, I don't want to watch the news. I don't want to see the negative things happening. Yeah. I want to escape and enjoy something nice. Yep. I want to go on TikTok. I want to go on Instagram and just forget about everything. And I think there's a bunch of people living on escaping their emotions every day, that at a certain point you can't escape, and you just get angrier and angrier. And obviously day-to-day life, if you're not unhappy with your current lifestyle and where you're at, it's so easy to start forming that identity of yourself without even knowing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You get so entrapped with this thing, this identity.
And I bet even that guy who didn't like David Goggins wanted to be a form of David Goggins. And I think a lot of people that hate, typically, obviously, it's coming out of jealousy.
It is. I wanted to be like that. Why the fuck is he in that position?
Why can't I do those same things? Why can't my mindset get me to be a Navy SEAL? Or why is his brain better than mine? Or like able to suffer more?
Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy that you say that, man. Because I know certain people. Again, I'm not going to put anyone on the spot, but I know that I can feel the jealousy. I can feel it from certain people, certain vibes, you know, when you talk about certain things.
Great stories are timeless. To be a great storyteller, one must bridge the gap between an alluring narrative and the audience, to pull at the heartstrings and to shape the imagination. At Filmz Media, we're more than just a media production agency. We are a powerhouse of creative individuals, content creators who specialize in telling great stories. Stories that are intimate and kept closest to the heart. Stories that are powerful and inspiring, that spark boldness and action. We are Filmz Media. We're here to tell your story. We are always unseen.
I could this is a whole another conversation. Maybe you and I could do this on another day, but just talk about jealousy, man. It's something that is so prevalent, especially when you start to make different moves in your life, or you start to do stuff that's creative or out of that quote unquote bubble. And especially if it's public, especially stuff like this, because everybody sees it.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's nice and if it's entertaining and it looks good. And again, you know how many messages I get from guys that are like, bro, I love your pod. Like, man, I wish I could start a podcast, yada, yada, yada. How many motherfuckers are thinking in the back of their head when they watch these shows about, I want to make one too? Why is that?
Because I could do it better than Qashus can.
Exactly. Or why the fuck is this guy doing it? Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Right. And so it's interesting that even Navin talked about this, Navin and Sean, how brown guys don't support other brown guys. We need more brown guys supporting other brown guys. I fuck with that so heavy.
Yeah.
Because we immediately are jealous of the other brown guy.
Think about our culture. Like in Pakistan, they had lists of like, if you're the smartest, you get put on this top 3 list. So if you're second, you didn't come first, you started hating the person who came first.
Yeah.
And you started getting more jealous of the person who came first.
Yeah.
Instead of working on your own self-development on, okay, maybe I need to change this up. How do I get better at this? I think the people who are in it support each other a little bit more than the people watching from the outside, because those people always wanted to be in it, and they never even took that leap.
They never took action, never executed. It's crazy, bro. And there's so many little indirect things that people do, and especially when you get to a certain point of understanding behavior patterns or understanding certain things, you're like, man, this guy's jealous, but I'm not going to say anything because it's like, whatever. But it's like, I see it and I can tell. And it's too bad, man, to be honest, because like, you know, at a certain point, it's like, we all can win.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
especially
in mindsets.
Exactly. And especially in Edmonton, you know, I feel like there's so much opportunity for us to support each other and build and provide resources and et cetera. But I think if your foundation is cracked, how are you going to want to support this guy who's 10 steps ahead of you or 5 steps ahead of you or 1 step ahead of you? How are you going to support that guy? Yeah, this motherfucker, you know, you're going to feel that envy no matter what you do because you ain't in that position or you failed at certain things or whatever. So that insecurity is deep in your unconscious. And so the only way to get out of that is to build that foundation, start to build yourself up. Yeah. And if you don't build yourself up, you're always going to be looking at other people and being jealous because you ain't build yourself up. You didn't put that work for yourself. You just start looking and you start consuming things and you're like, oh, fuck this brown guy, fuck this brown guy, fuck this brown guy. And why? And you start to become that hater and you don't even realize it. You're just like, oh, I know better. Look at these fools trying to do X, Y, Z. I know better. Yeah. You start to have that like pompous sort of, you know, I know better than these fools.
There's always an opinion on how it could be better instead of appreciation. And like to me, I think why I became so introverted over the years was I was very social in high school. And then the moment I kind of got out of it and I wanted to have my own lane and do different things, I remember thinking like I could feel the same things. Like people are like, oh, why is he doing this and that? Which is fine. People are allowed to think those things. But it put me off from people partly because I also needed to develop what I was doing at a better scale, right? Like I need to be better at what I was doing. And I became introverted because the only way I had time to get better is to be with myself. And the more I got better, then those scenarios made more sense later down the road. Like you're talking about foundations and stacking up everything in sequence. Yeah. When that work was done in the gym, now I can appreciate more people who've built something because I technically started from here, the same spot that they were at a certain point, and maybe I was jealous or anything of that sort, being a hater. But then once I became more introverted and put in the time, by the end of it, now I could appreciate all these people who've built something. And I was like, whoa, this took like a whole lot more work than I thought it would take. Because in my mind, I was like, man, my first video, I'm going to blow this bitch up. Like, it's nothing. Yeah. And then when it doesn't happen over and over again, you're forced to be self-aware, reflect, see how you can get better. And then now when we're at these positions now where we've actually made a ton of videos, we've interacted with a ton of people, we've tried building things in different ways. Now you can see the jealousy different that you had even earlier or other people have because you were there at a certain point. And I think those people, like emotional intelligence, how we're talking about, comes from all that work by yourself to be able to see where the end goal leads you. And then you can see all those things from different lens. Because before you're the same person where they're at. So now when I see people maybe hating or things of that sort, I can understand it a little bit better. Whereas before I'd be like, man, I never did anything to this guy. Why is this guy hating?
Well, what's that saying? A hater is a person who's not gonna have more. What was it?
A hater is my biggest fan.
But you're never gonna see a hater who has more than you. Yeah. Right? Like someone who has more than you, or quote unquote more than you, isn't gonna hate on you. Yeah. Right? Why would they? Their foundation is solid. Yeah. So why would you hate? It comes from a place of lack. Someone that doesn't have certain things or certain things in place, those are normally who the haters are. Yeah. Right? Why else would you hate on another person? There's no reason to.
Yeah, and
where's that poison coming from? It has to come from a place of lack.
Absolutely. Man, it's crazy. Everybody's so soft. Everybody's so soft.
Yo, you know what we're gonna do though, because we're an hour into this, but I think this, if you guys agree with me, but I think this should be a whole episode on its own, talking about jealousy, envy, I think that itself, we can go through a ton of different rabbit holes on this. But
absolutely.
All right, I think we should wrap it up. What do you think?
I think it's been a blessed Sunday so far.
I think
it's been good.
This has been great, guys. Yo, if you guys have enjoyed this episode, you know what it is, man. Subscribe, review us. Guys, review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a review. Let us know your thoughts. Comment on some of these videos, man. We'd love to hear from you guys. Any topics that you guys think that we should cover, let us know. We're open to it, and we're going to continue to drop bars.
And I think to end off, it's not even like I don't think we're ever here to be like, let's educate people.
No.
Right? It's always like, let's share our experience with people. And I think that's the best part. So if you guys do have any form of questions regarding based on experience and things that we've kind of been through, we're not here to be like, this is the way to do it. I think how we learned is by reading books and hearing other people's experience. And we're just trying to do the same. But like and subscribe on that bitch.
Yes, sir. These are all just conversations that we're having. So hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Qashus, Karam Sultan, Kenny, we miss you. And we'll see you guys next week on the Second Floor Podcast. That's a wrap.
Hi, Mom. Sorry, I swore.